Alright, legends, swift little video for you tonight. And I was just thinking today at work, I was just going over Deadpool and Wolverine in my head again. Just a great movie. If you haven't seen my review of it yet, go back to the previous video, check that out, and let me know what you think. So, standing today at work, doing my job, and I was just thinking through everything that was going on in that movie and everything that's going on online at the moment. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming out about the whole situation as far as the style of movies. Let's just say, and I want to be careful on how I word some of this stuff. Um, there's a lot of arguments going on behind the scenes now with Marvel and Disney to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a few actors that have got their noses put out of joint. You've got She-Hulk, um, Tatiana Maslany, I think is the pronunciation of her name, isn't happy, along with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. The two of them are up in arms against Ryan Reynolds, apparently, to do with a deleted scene that was supposed to be in the movie. And the decision, according to the stories and rumours that I've heard, the decision was made to remove them from the final cut of Deadpool and Wolverine. And even when the 3 hour edition of the movie comes out, whenever it gets to, I'm hoping it's across the board here. Like, I heard 3 hour cut of Deadpool and Wolverine for Blu-ray, but I'm hoping streaming gets it and everything. Beside the point, but I was just thinking, everything that's going on in that movie and everything that's happening right now, there's a lot of stories, a lot of rumours floating around, particularly about Marvel Studios at the moment. And apparently, uh, they've cleaned house, let's just say. That they've apparently gotten rid of a lot of employees, people in there. Again, I want to be careful on how I word some of this stuff, because it is what it is. It's the internet today. Uh, yeah, you can just annoy people with the slightest little thing here. But in my mind, just to get right to the point on this, I think that Deadpool and Wolverine is the most important movie at the minute as far as uh, Disney and Marvel goes. There's a lot of stuff going on in that film. And, you're sitting watching the movie, if you've seen it, and you've heard some of the jokes that they made in it at the expense of a lot of people. Like, they took shots at Disney themselves, they took shots at Marvel. Of course, there's that scene where Wolverine wakes up and Deadpool says to him, welcome to the MCU. You're kind of joining at a low point. So, a lot of stuff going on in there. I think, thinking back in this movie today, they made a conscious effort to test the waters to see exactly where the fans stand at the moment as far as the current culture and movie making and everything that's going on in the last, let's just say, everything since Avengers Endgame. You've seen a complete 180 in quality, in my opinion. There's been a few good movies in there, but the vast majority of it has been crap, let's just say. And crap because of the message that's in there. And Deadpool and Wolverine didn't do that. They didn't pull their punches in the stuff that they came out with in that movie. There's one joke in particular on there that really jumped out at me, and it was the joke between Deadpool and Blade. Whenever Deadpool cracked the retired joke to Blade, and yeah, a lot of stuff that's just, when you think about it this way, right? Everything that went on in that film, as far as the jokes, the content, everything that happened in there, They had to get clearance for absolutely everything they'd done. They took jabs at Disney. Disney had to clear that. They took jabs at Marvel. Marvel had to clear that. Everybody was on the same page putting that movie out there. They cracked jokes towards the whole woke culture thing as well. Disney had to clear that. Marvel had to clear that. From what I've read and heard online, apparently there was only one joke that was in the script that they were told, okay, you can't do that. So I could only imagine what that was. Now, I do know the other thing was they couldn't make any of the in depth drug references that they would have done in the first two Deadpool movies. They had to tone that down, but even toning that down, they had a bit of fun with it. So they did kind of slip it on below the radar as well. But, my point is, with everything that's going on, everybody's good at pointing the fingers at Disney. You're doing this wrong. You're screwing up with everything. Pointing the fingers at Marvel. You see, at the end of the day, I'm heading for 46 years old now. I've seen a lot of stuff in my own life as far as the work environment goes now. Can't speak for the movie industry as such, but just where I work at, you always have someone on the top level that wants something done, and then you've got the everybody on the lower levels below them trying to put it into production. And you would have someone at the bottom of the level, someone's just a basic worker like myself. For an example, a real life example of something that happened with me, one of the managers where I work at came to me years ago, and he had a new plan for the job that we were doing, and he brought it to me and asked me, this is what we're going to do from tomorrow. This is a new way of doing things. And I'm like, okay, being the guy that's on the floor all the time, I was like, that's no problem, but you're going to have to give me 3 extra workers to make sure that this actually works properly. And he didn't accept that. And the following day, we went on to do the job. We couldn't do it. We had to get the extra workers in at the end of it to try and make it work. Ultimately, the amount of people that they would have had to put it on to the job to do it the way he wanted, eventually he had to relent and go back to the way things were. It just wasn't a productive way of going. Now, to apply that to everything that's going on over the last 10, let's just say 10 years or so, since Avengers Endgame, there's someone on the top level that has been trying to get a certain agenda put on there. We all know what it is, what's going on. You've seen it across. Marvel's been affected. Star Wars has been decimated at the moment, and unfortunately and heartbreakingly for me, Doctor Who also went down the tubes with it as well. But the thing is, the story that I just give you from my work environment and what we had to go through with that whole procedure, that's exactly the same over there, only there's millions and millions of dollars on the table here. So, even though you've got the heads of Star Wars, the heads of Marvel and whatnot, even the heads of Disney, they all have people above them as well. The financial guys, the guys that are signing the checks for this stuff to go forward. So they're pushing an agenda. And the only way, and I made a video on it a long time ago, I was just like, stop complaining. Just let the people make what they want to make. Eventually, the people behind the scenes are going to start realizing, that we're burning money here. We're making absolutely nothing. We're losing as much money as we're making at this point. We're barely breaking even. The sooner that happens, the better. And in my humble perspective right now, with Deadpool and Wolverine, we're getting to see that this was a conscious play by both Disney and Marvel to put something out there that went completely against the groove of everything prior to it, and really kind of spat in the face of all that sort of stuff. And now that it's made bank, it's gosh, it was just over the $1 billion mark, and just it's probably at the point of recording this video is probably one of the highest grossing Marvel movies ever. And now the the players themselves, the producers, I'd even go as far as the head of Disney and whatnot, because he's up against it with a lot of stuff going on that's really stuff for another video. Snow White, there's a lot of arguments going on there. There's a lot of nonsense that the man has to deal with. Love him or hate him, he is, even though he's the head of Disney, he has these guys above him pushing something. Now with Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, they finally now have got something that they can barter with. They can go back to the heads, whoever's putting the money down for this, the big investors up top, whoever they are, Disney and Marvel can both go back now, set out the records for how much money they've made and how much money they've lost. They're starting to get a record, and that's the only thing that's going to make a change whenever it comes to a business situation. Exactly like the story I shared where I worked at. You can tell someone something isn't going to work till you're blue in the face, but and the majority of the time, the people setting up how you're going to do your job in life are people that's never done it. Some guy sitting behind a desk, pencil pushing, just throwing out the orders. You have to carry them out. Exactly the same thing here. But now they have got something they can bargain with. They're just like, and I think, and his name has completely left me right now, the head of Marvel, Kevin Feige, I think he's actually said or is quoted as saying at some point recently, look, you see all this sort of stuff here, as far as Miss Marvel and all that sort of stuff, She-Hulk, all those sorts of shows. Apparently he's been quoted as saying, look, we have tried this way, it's not working, we're going to have to readjust and do something different. Deadpool and Wolverine comes out of the blue, jumps on all over it, really, takes jabs at both Marvel and Disney. Again, all cleared by the companies. They want to see exactly what's going on, what sells, and they have the records now to go to the guys with the money and say, look, if you want to make money, if you want to make a good investment that's going to pay you back in the long run, you're going to have to back this and not this. This works, that didn't work, that's never going to work. It's, the records are now there. Like, it's anybody can look for anything they want. If people want shows like She-Hulk or Star Wars The Acolyte, if they want something along those lines, go make a show they got there. Don't be taking an IP that's established and try and rework it into something that it's not. And yes, they've had a go at it now for years at this point, and it's not working. So I'm thinking right now, Disney, I was on the verge. I'm not gonna lie, I was on the verge there for a while of just deleting my account of Disney Plus, just taking my financial backing away from them and just walking away from it. But after Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm starting to think right now there's a little bit of hope on the horizon here. They seem to be making some decent business maneuvers at this point, and that's my whole reasoning for why Deadpool and Wolverine is probably the most important film in the Marvel catalogue in a minute, because it does draw that line of what works and what doesn't work. Love it or hate it, it did what them guys set out for it to do, and I genuinely think very, very conscious effort from everybody involved, for you, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, uh, everybody that made the film, along with Disney and Marvel, everybody on the same page, throwing something out there and getting a product that was like, you know what? If we want to make money, we want to be successful, we need to get back to doing something like this and the stuff prior to Avengers Endgame, because everything up until that there was good. A lot of it was brilliant, some of it was good, but everything after that, just a downhill spiral. And yeah, the whole woke culture getting involved in it did not do it any favors whatsoever. So I'm thinking, as at this point, moving forward, you know, we may have a little bit of common sense and, yeah, just good reality and decent movies to go and enjoy, instead of getting preached to at every fart's end from nonsense like the current Star Wars, the Acolyte, and the last season of Doctor Who, and both shows that didn't just fail because of their sketchy and bad writing, but their stars actually turning on the fan base and saying, look, if you don't like this, don't watch it. That's the sort of stuff you can get away with a little YouTube channel or a podcast or something, and somebody's giving you crap. It's just like, yeah, you don't like this stuff, off you go. You don't have to watch or listen to any of this. You can't do that with millions and millions of dollars involved in there. Absolute insanity. So that's just my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine and why it's the most important film. Change is coming, and this was definitely a big kick in the right way. Right, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all then.